Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 20th of September and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu. We'll take all articles along with the background as well as way forward. And I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in the description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, we will take overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are important for our examination, and this overview is also important so that you can learn the art of skimming through newspapers. Fine. So let's start with the overview first. So here we have the Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper. Now on first page, we have first article, India denies any role in Niger's killing in Canada. So basically guys, what has happened recently, Canada had made an allegation on India which is unsubstantiated. Basically what happened, so there was Khalistan Tiger Force chief who was killed, and Canada is saying that India has contributed in killing. Now, this thing is completely unsubstantiated, and India had said that such irresponsible remarks should not be made by Canada. Okay. However, this particular thing is also true that for a long period of time, many of the people who have been condemned as terrorists, okay, and many of the Khalistani sympathizers, they have found shelter in Canada. On that particular thing, Canada has not taken any concrete steps. Okay. So basically, this particular thing, guys, brings an irritant between India-Canada relations. So when we talk about relations between any two country, there are irritants and there are converging points that are there. So this comes under irritant between India and Canada. Now, we need not to go too much in detail in this particular thing about the life profile of the a person who was killed and all such kind of a thing. No need to go that beyond this. Then here we have article, government introduces women's quota bill in Lok Sabha. PM calls for consensus. We'll take this particular article for exam point of view. Then further moving on, after that we have advertisement, etc. Not much important for examination. Then in city play, also these tenders, etc. are there. Nothing much important. Government tried to fool women with reservation bill. Atishi. No need to go in these political remarks. We will analyze the women reservation bill anyhow. Then further, again, these advertisements, regional political issues, etc. have been given. Now here there is one article which is important. Three Hoysala temples declared World Heritage Sites. We'll take this particular article for exam point of view. Then again, these tenders, advertisements are there. Coming to editorial page. Now on editorial, first article, the mantras that powered success at G20 summit. We'll take this particular article with exam for the exam point of view. Serious allegation, India, Canada stare at a downturn again. It is because of the Canadian Prime Minister's statement that has been made. But guys, again, I'm telling you, no need to go too much in that particular direction. Then further, moving on, the Kaveri Water Management Authority should act. Now, understand this particular thing that as we talk about India, as we talk about the Karnataka, okay, as we talk about the Karnataka, Kerala, okay. So basically, when we talk about, guys, the states in India, with between the states there are many different types of federal disputes that exist. For example, disputes are there on water, disputes are there on boundary, disputes are there on resource allocation. Now this particular article talks about the water dispute, and particularly the Kaveri water dispute is being talked about. Now basically, guys, what has happened here, so article is talking about, for example, article is saying Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, the order that was given by Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, okay, in 1991. Then after that in 2001, to what happened, 2003, for what happened. Then Supreme Court how intervened, how many cusecs of water is to be given to which state. There is now, my point is that, guys, you are not required to go in such kind of a hairline detail that on what date, what order was given by the water management authority, okay, and what all these developments are there in on how many days, how much water is to be released. Such details are given. No need for going in this article because such kind of things are not asked in our examination. Then next article, facilitating degrees within a degree. Again, guys, I have read this entire article. Nothing relevant to our exam point of view has been given, so I'll not advise you to go too much in that. Then after, here we have the cautious Congress in Telangana. So this is a state of play article, political article. Fine. Then further moving on, NASA shift UFO debate from sensationalism to science. So basically, guys, what has happened? So recently in Mexico's Congress, there was a debate that was carried that whether the aliens find unidentified flying objects, UFOs, spaceships, are they real or not? And one of some of specimens have been presented, and this you might have seen in the news also, that there is this skeleton which or a mummy or a mummified specimen which is being said it is of alien. Okay, now the NASA says this thing that we need to discuss more about the UFOs, aliens. There is no consulted data on that particular thing. So that is there. Again, guys, for exam, are you need to go in that particular thing? No, not really for exam point of view. Okay. Then text and context, simultaneous poll, do states have a say? Now, this is an important article for polity. We are going to take this particular article. Then further moving on, text and context, environmental humanities. So this particular article also we are going to take up for examination. Then moving on after that, uh, fine. Here we have one article. Symbolism of gender justice ushers a new era of parliament. We'll take this particular article. MPs take to new house with enthusiasm. So finally, the new parliament building has started to function. Okay. Then Congress claims reservation bill as its own. Now all these political commentaries, political statements, you are not required to really go in that. Okay. Then further moving on after that, Center floats new science awards. We'll see this particular article. And in fact, if you remember 3-4 days back, when 2-3 days back, when we have seen Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar awards that were given, on that day also we have discussed that government is deciding to reorganize the science awards, and finally it has been done. So 3-4 days back already we have taken it up. If you are following newspaper analysis regularly, you might be knowing it. But anyhow, we'll take it today also. Then after that, WHO releases a report on global impact on high BP. We'll take this particular article. The Aditya L1 heads towards Lagrange point 1. So guys, on Aditya L1, I think at least 12-13 times we have taken this particular article. Aditya L1 was launched recently. It will be placed in Lagrange point L1, which is 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth. Lagrange point L1, what is this point? This point is between Sun and Earth, where gravity of sun and Earth will balance each other, and the observatory satellite, it will get stabilized between that. So Aditya L1 has started its journey towards it. Okay, now guys, here date by date what is happening, how orbital shifts etc are going on, this detail has been given. You are not really required to go too much in that. Okay, then further moving on, finance minister stresses urgent need for reliable crop yield estimates. Okay, then guys, we have these corporate trends also etc that are there, not important for examination. Okay, uh, then on world page, Biden asks world to stand up against Russia's naked aggression. Okay, so this particular issue, guys, has been every day one article on Russia-Ukraine war comes. No need to go too much in that detail. Okay, one article: government industry must collaborate to build ethical AI. IBM's Patel. Okay, so basically, guys, the article though doesn't contains much of important aspect, but one concept you need to keep it in your mind, that when we talk about artificial intelligence, today, artificial intelligence is becoming pervasive in almost all the fields. And as artificial intelligence will become that much pervasive, we need to have ethical standards of AI. Because, guys, today, for example, it has been said that these artificial intelligence platforms, they have their own stereotypes, biases. AI should only be used for ethical use. AI should only be used that places where it will bring human welfare. Okay, so some ethical standard needs to be brought in this particular capacity. Then we have sports page, nothing much important. And guys, if you'll move in last we have this science page. Now one thing I want to tell you, that in almost many of the editions, science page is not published. In fact, in Delhi also, the physical copy science page is not there. Particularly text and context page is also not published in many of the regional editions. So don't worry, I will cover here. Fine, don't worry, I will cover here. So today's science article is talking about, can green nudges in online food deliveries lower plastic pollution? So an important theme is there. We are going to take it up, and this is all our newspaper. Now, let's discuss all relevant articles one by one in detail. So, as I was telling you that you can download the synoptic notes. So this is the synoptic notes. And guys, one more thing I want to tell you, it really feels good to tell you this thing that we have analyzed this year's GS papers. Okay. And it is really heartening to tell you that a large number of questions, and in fact, almost all the questions that have come in the current affairs section. Now we have 4 papers in GS 1, 2, 3, and 4. GS1 and GS4 are largely static. Current affairs doesn't plays that much role. Okay, though in GS4 contemporary dimensions you can write, but directly questions from current affairs don't come. GS2 and 3 are the one where contemporary questions, current affair question come, and almost all the questions that have come from current affairs, they can directly be solved from our newspaper analysis video as well as synoptic notes that we are giving. And on that particular direction, I will also be coming out with a detailed video. In that, I will tell you that on which date we have discussed an article and how that has come in newspaper. So just we are working on that and will come out with that particular video, and it should repose your even more faith, though we appreciate that you show so much of faith in our newspaper analysis, but still we'll make out that particular video also. Moving on, moving on. So every class we take a GS quotation, and this GS quotation can be well used in your essay paper as well as in GS papers. So today we are going to take quotation from Otto von Bismarck, fine, who was responsible for unification of Germany, also called as Iron Man. So Bismarck says, with bad laws and good civil servants, it's still possible to govern. Okay. But with bad civil servants, even the best laws cannot help. Okay. If there are bad laws, okay, bad laws are there. If laws are there which are not comprehensive, but civil servants are good, those civil servants will still be able to utilize those bad laws for good things. Okay. But if good civil servants are not there, civil servants are unethical, civil servants are corrupted, civil servants don't have good values, even the best of best laws will become ineffective. So rather than law, character, rather than law, personal ethics, personal morality becomes more important in effective and responsible governance. Effective and responsible governance. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 2 as well as in GS paper number 4, ethics. So that is about the quotation. And now let's discuss the first article for today. Let's discuss the first article for today. Okay. Fine. So guys, the first article that we are going to take up is government introduces the women's quota bill in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister calls for a consensus. So this particular article we are going to take it up. Now, one thing Now, one thing is there, guys, that before going on in this particular article, what is utility of this article for our exam point of view? So this particular article, we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2 polity. Within GS paper number 2 polity, fine, electoral reforms, will see this particular article. Secondly, we'll see this particular article with respect to the social issues and social justice. Again, social issues and social justice is an important theme in GS paper number 2. And with respect to social issue and social justice, we are going to take this particular article within women related issues. So this is utility of this particular article. Now, basically, guys, this particular idea, this particular article is just giving one liner concept. Beyond that, much is not there. But before going in this, some background we need to see. Now, this background is not provided in article, so we have given the notes. Please download them. So when we talk about, guys, women representation in politics, it has always been very much less because of the patriarchal notions that are there. We have given gender roles. In these gender roles, men have been given authority positions, power positions, and women, they have been assumed that they should largely play a role in care responsibilities, in domestic responsibilities. So therefore, historically, in political circles, women have denied the power. And that thing is also reflects in India. For example, if I give you the data, according to Global Gender Gap Index report, right now in present Lok Sabha, just 15.1%, just 15.1% of MPs in present Lok Sabha, they are women. 15.1% MPs. And if we talk about state legislative assemblies, in state legislative assemblies, just around in state legislative assemblies, just around 10% of legislators are women. So historically, in political sphere, women have not been given the large powers. So one suggestion that has been given from long is that we need to mandatorily reserve some of the seats for women in our elected bodies, in parliament, in state legislature. Some mandatory quota is to be given to women. And this mandatory quota was recommended way back in 1988 by National Perspective Plan for Women. It represented that it gave a suggestion that 30% of seats in elected bodies should be given to women. Then after this, what happened? National policy for the empowerment of women, which came in 2001, it also provided that one third of the seats in elected bodies should be given to women. But both of these particular plans and policies did not got accepted. However, some positive thing has happened at the front of the local bodies. If you know, 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment came. They brought Panchayati Raj institution and urban local bodies. Both of them got constitutionalized by 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment act. And there, one third representation has been given to women. One third representation has been given to the women. But apart from that, state legislative assembly, parliament, no mandatory quotas have been given to women. Now, in this particular capacity, in 1996, Women Reservation Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha, and this bill provided that one third of the seats in Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies should be reserved for women. But this particular bill has got lapsed. Up till now, it not got passed. So every time there has been said that women are not being given their due share in politics. Women are not being given due share in politics. That is something which has been said from time to time. Now what has happened? Finally government has introduced 128th constitutional amendment bill 2023. And as per this particular bill, it proposes that one third, 33% of the seats in Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies should be reserved for women. Now, one more question comes, that will 2024 elections, there women will be getting the seats? Will one third seats in upcoming Lok Sabha elections of 2024, will women be given that? Answer is no. Why? Because government provides that timeline of the implementation of this bill would be post 2026. Now, why post 2026? So basically, guys, already the delimitation exercise is pending. What is a delimitation? So basically, guys, delimitation is an exercise where we redefine the electoral constituencies in India. Okay, now you know this particular thing, that entire country is divided in electoral constituencies, and every MP will represent one constituency. So there are Lok Sabha constituencies, there are state assembly constituencies. One constituency is represented by MP. Okay, now these constituencies are redefined after every year. Why? Because population changes. Now, basically, what has happened till 2026, delimitation or reconstitution of constituencies was frozen. So what happened in 2026? Delimitation exercise will be carried, and in this delimitation exercise, we might be bringing more new constituencies. And after this delimitation exercise happens, women will be given reservation. And this delimitation exercise will happen on the basis of the census. Okay, so 2021 census has not happened till now. So meanwhile, census will happen. On the basis of census in 2026, delimitation will be done, constituencies will be reconstituted, and after that women will be given their quota. So it means that in Lok Sabha, if everything goes fine, only in 2029 women will get their quota. Only in 2029 women will get their quota. This is something that is going to happen. Now, guys, when we talk about women around the world, women have outperformed their male counterparts. And if we are not giving women their place in politics, we are doing the disservice to humanity, because humanity is not getting the best of the geniuses of women. Recently, Norway also, now the Norway, it has already implemented a quota system in 2003, and 40% of the seats, even in the corporate boards, they are occupied by women. So that is all, guys, all about it. Please download the synoptic notes, because The article just mentions this information. So please download the synoptic notes. Okay. Then moving on to next article. Moving on to next article. 3 Hoysala temples declared World Heritage Site. 3 Hoysala temples declared World Heritage Sites. So basically, guys, UNESCO maintains World Heritage Site list. World Heritage Sites can be of three types. They could be the cultural sites. They can be cultural sites which has rich cultural history, traditional history. Because of their unique architecture, they hold a special significance. So there can be cultural sites. For example, this Hoysala temple is a cultural site. Fine, fine. There can be natural sites. There can be natural sites, and then there can be mixed sites. Mixed sites, which are the mix of both cultural as well as natural. Okay. Now, by giving World Heritage Site status, a particular site get more conservation effort. It gets more publicity, more tourist visit there, and also special recognition of its value also is given by recognizing it as a World Heritage Site. So UNESCO recognizes such sites. In India, there were 40 sites. What happened just 3-4 days back? If you remember, we have seen that one more site has been given the World Heritage Site status. That is Shanti Niketan. Okay, so Shanti Niketan in West Bengal has also been given the status. So now in India, we have total 41 sites. We have total 41 sites. And now what has happened? The Hoysala temples have also been included into the World Heritage Site list. Total 3 of temple premises they have got included. So how many sites are now there? 42 or 44? Answer is now we got 42 sites. Why? Because these are 3 temple premises, they have been counted as one. So one thing, right now, as of today, India has 42 World Heritage Sites, including the Shanti Niketan and Hoysala temples. Now, let's discuss the details one by one. So basically, guys, when we talk about the Hoysala temples, there are 3 temples exactly which have clubbed under the sacred ensembles of Hoshalas. Under the sacred ensembles of Hoshala, 3 temples have been clubbed. What are these 3 temples? Number one is the Chennakeshwar temple at Belur. Apologies if I have pronounced the name wrong. Okay, so there is Chennakeshwar temple at Belur, Hoshaleshwara temple at Halbid. Now both of these temples, they are in the Hassan district. Okay, and then there is Keshav temple at Somnathpur in Mysuru district. So these 3 temples, they were in tentative list since 2014 and 22. What is a tentative list? Basically, every country sends their entries to UNESCO that we are sending this entry that it should be included into the World Heritage Site list. So there is a tentative list which is maintained, and out of that tentative list, entries are chosen and they are given the World Heritage Site status. So already India had sent the entry of these temples. Now finally it has been given the World Heritage Site status. Where it has been given the World Heritage Site status? It has been given the status during the 45th session of World Heritage Committee, which was held at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, let's talk a little bit about the architecture of these temples, because that particular thing can be asked in your prelims examination. Fine, that particular thing can be asked in your prelims examination. So when we talk about the type of architecture, first of all, Hoysala temples, they have a distinct style, ornate style, which has rich design language, which has rich ornamental decorative patterns that are there. Now when we talk about this particular temple, these temples are actually constructed on a raised platform, and it follows a stellate plan. Stellate plan means a star like pattern. Okay, it follows a star like pattern. It follows a star-like pattern, and they have constructed on a raised platform. Principal material that has been used for the construction of these temples, it is soapstone. Now, what is a soapstone? Soapstone is a type of a chlorite schist. Schist. Okay, so you know that different type of stones are there. Schists are there. Granites are there. Marbles are there. So this is made up of schist, which is also called as soapstone. Now, what is the quality of this stone? This is soft and amenable to carving. So rich carvings, rich designs can be made in these particular temple. Now, the temple has horizontal friezes panels which contains sculptures, and a unique thing about this particular temple is there that artists, craftsmen who have made sculptures on these temples, they have also left their signatures. They have also left their signature. Means we have recognized that these sculptures are made by this specific artist, this sculpture made by this particular craftsman. So they have been signed them, where we are recognizing the efforts that have been given by them. Okay, fine. So this is guys all about it. Okay, moving on to next article. Can green nudges in online food deliveries lower plastic pollution? Can green nudges in online food delivery lower plastic pollution? Now, this particular article, guys, will see with respect to the case study. This article will see with respect to the case study for GS paper number 3 environment. GS paper number 3 environment and conservation. Now, moving on. Moving on. So basically, what has happened, this particular article is actually talking about a recent study that has been conducted in China with respect to the food delivery platforms. So basically, in India, as we have Zomato and Swiggy, in China, Alibaba runs one of the biggest food delivery platform. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we are ordering food from any food delivery platform, often we request cutlery. They will be sending spoons, plates, forks, disposable cutlery. Now, these disposable cutlery, they constitute a large waste category. It constitutes a large waste category. And point is that these middle players, such as Zomato, Swiggy, they can play a very important role in cutting down this particular large category of waste. How? Let's understand this particular thing. So basically, what has happened? So a study was conducted recently in China with the largest online food delivery platform of China. And what has happened? This food delivery platform, they have made one particular option as a default, that is no disposable cutlery. Now, if you have noted, when you go to Zomato and you order food from Zomato, by default, there is an option that is selected that please don't send cutlery. Okay. Now, many people, guys, often don't even realize that particular thing. They order food, no cutlery is received. Zomato's line of thought is that if you want cutlery, you need to specifically ask for that. If we will default made that okay, send the cutlery, large many people will order food, they will get cutlery, they are never going to use it, they will just throw in the dustbin. It is going to increase the wastage. So around the world, food delivery platforms by default, they have this particular option that please send no cutlery. And by choosing this default option, 648% increase in the share of no cutlery orders. 648% increase in the share of no cutlery orders. And as the cutlery, disposable spoons, plates, etc. are not being sent, they are not getting wasted. And therefore, what has happened? A large number of environmental waste has been saved. Okay. Now, it has been said that the users in China, when they are not ordering the cutlery, they get some points. And after they collect 16,000 points, they can get a tree planted in their name in the desert of China. So this food delivery platform will plant a tree in their name in desert of China. So this is working very efficiently in China. Now, this is an example of green nudge. This is an example of green nudge. Now, what is the meaning of this word nudge? Now, by the way, there is one very good book that you should read on the nudge. So this is a book. I hope it is visible. So this is a book by Heller, Fine and Sunstein. Now, this particular book is talking about the nudge. What is a nudge? Nudge is a gentle reminder. Nudge is a gentle reminder that a person should do things in a particular way, which is good for him as well as society. For example, when you are going on a two-wheeler or on in a car, there are the hoardings that are there on the road which say, drive slowly, somebody is waiting for you at your home. This is a reminder to drive slowly. And this reminder is for your good only. This reminder is for your good only. So through meaningful nudges, a lot of constructive behavior can be driven. Through nudges, beneficial behavior could be driven. Now, when by default they are choosing this option that will not send the cutlery, what is happening? They are giving a green nudge, environmental reminder to the people that by this you are contributing in saving the environment. So green nudges are gentle persuasion to influence environmental friendly behavior in people. So in behavioral economics, what are the nudges? Nudges are those interventions that influence people's choices to make particular type of decisions. Okay, now what has happened in China, when this particular option was given to people, okay, what happened? 83% of the people, they responded positively to these green nudges. They did not order the cutlery. 6% they did not show any change, and 11% they defied the nudge. But 83% people following them, it means that it holds a lot of potential. And in India also, the Zomato, which is the online food delivery platform, okay, it has also installed similar nudge on its application. So basically it had said that uh, basically the default no cutlery option is there. Okay, so next time if you're ordering the food, by default they will not send any cutlery. If you want, you need to request it specially. So by that particular thing also, they are saving a lot of environmental waste. Okay, and these are, guys, the way by which we will be achieving the circular economy. Okay, fine, all these things. Now moving on to next article. Environmental humanities environmental humanities, the need to expand our understanding of nature. Now this particular article, guys, again we'll see with respect to the GS paper number 3 environment, as well as this particular article, guys, can also act as an important folder for the essays which are coming on environment, sustainability, etc. And a very different article, I say. So what the article is actually talking about? Now, guys, when we talk about environment conservation, we always see it under the lens of science. We explain the environmental degradation through science. We find environmental solution through science. And all the debates, discussion on environment also happens through the perspective of science. But this article talks about that the humanities, role of culture, role of women, role of tribals, role of society in environment has not been discussed, but now we need to give more importance to that. So it is talking about environmental humanities. It is talking about environmental humanities. Okay. So it says that we need to bring together the discipline of humanities and social science with the climate. It says that, see, from long time, society and culture, they have largely been connected with the environment. For example, guys, if I give you example, the article doesn't mentions it, but when we talk about the Bishnoi community, which is living in large numbers in Rajasthan, Bishnoi community, as a part of their culture, they worship environment, they preserve environment. Okay, then there are many communities, including the Bishnoi community and other communities in Rajasthan. As a part of their culture, they hold khejri tree. Okay, they give a distinct importance to khejri tree. Okay, now, when we talk about women, women has played a very important role in environment and conservation. If you talk about the Chipko movement, women played a very important role. So societies, cultures, they have very closely been intertwined with the environment. But that particular dimension, we have not discussed largely till now. Now, when we talk about culture, when we talk about, sorry, environment, article says this particular thing, that when we talk about environment, there are two perspectives to see environment and nation. One is we consider that nation, India, is one place where nature is universal to all of its citizens. Okay, as a part of, in we the people of India, we have one nature, and this nature belongs to all. This viewpoint is called as ecological nationalism. And on the basis of ecological nationalism, as we have a common country and a common nature, everyone has a claim on this nature, and everyone can be restricted by using the nature. So this is ecological nationalism. Second is that first there is a nature, and in relation to the nature, nation is defined. Now, these are two opposite. In first, nation comes, and related to nation, the nature comes. And second, first nature comes, and in conjunction to nature, nation comes. So these are the two viewpoints in which we see the nation and nature, nation and nature. Now, author of this particular article say this thing, that what has happened. Since long, we are seeing nature environment through utilitarian lens means nature exists for greatest happiness of greatest number of people. Environment is for greatest happiness of greatest people means environmental resources are to be given to the large and large number of people for their benefit, for their benefit. Now, it says that because of this particular thing, a lot of exploitation or a lot of abuse of nature has happened. Article is saying this particular thing. Article is saying this particular thing that see, Dalit people, tribal people, they have a deep relation with nature. For example, I told you that many of the tribal people they protect forest, they worship the forest. I have given you example of the Bishnoi community who preserve the environment. Fine, marginalized communities have played a very important role, but largely they have been given limited access to space, land, water because of the caste system, because of the social inequalities that are there. Article says that these cultures, these societies, they have a large number of things to offer when it comes to environmental conservation, and we need to give space them to them, and we need to learn through them, through their stories of rivers, landscapes, through the stories of plants, animals. We can learn a lot of valuable wisdom as how to protect environment, how to conserve the nature, and it should become a very important contributor. Okay, that is all guys about it. Then moving on to next article. Simultaneous polls do state have simultaneous polls do state have a say. Now, this particular article, guys, I think we have discussed at least 4 or 5 times. So, what is happening recently? Government has constituted a committee under the chairmanship of former President of India, Mr. Ramnath Singh Kovind, and this particular committee is going to study that whether the simultaneous elections should be conducted in India or not. What are simultaneous election? It means that at the same time, election for Lok Sabha as well as state legislative assembly should be conducted in 1951-52 when first election happened. We were following simultaneous election, but after that post 1960s this cycle got disturbed, and every year there are elections in one or the other state, and it is said that because of that government is all time in the election mode. It disturbs developmental work, lot of money is diverted, okay, a lot of administrative staff is diverted, and it leads to lot of governance challenges. So at same time we need to have election. Now, article is specifically talking about one particular dimension. Article says that the committee that has been constituted, okay, under the former president, this committee has been given a specific mandate that to study whether constitutional amendments will be needed for this particular thing, and whether those constitutional amendments will require the ratification by states. Ratification by states. Now, this particular dimension we are going to discuss here. Now, article is talking about the amendment of constitution and where the ratification by states. Ratification by state means approval by state is required. So, article says that as we talk about Constitution of India, Article 368, Article 368 provides for the amendment of constitution. Article 368. So, it says that the Article 368. Fine. So, as we talk about the Constitution of India, Article 368 provides for the amendment of constitution. And as per Article 368, there are the three ways in which Constitution can be amended. Number one, Constitution can be amended through simple majority. As all the laws are passed through the simple majority, it can be passed. Okay, so just 50% members present and voting, if they want, they can approve some of the Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, and for example, Article 4, okay, changes related to organization of state. Article 169, abolition or creation of legislative council in state. All these changes can be brought by simple majority, means just 50% member present and voting. If they will approve, this change will happen. Now, these particular amendments are technically even not called as constitutional amendments. Okay, so this is first way. Second way is through special majority. Now, there are large number of provisions within the constitution that are passed through special majority. What is special majority? Two-third of the member present and voting. Two-third of the member that are present and voting, and majority of the total membership of each house. Okay, 50% of the total members should vote, and two-third of the people who are present and voting, they should approve. Okay, Then third category of amendments require special majority, that is two-thirds and 50%, plus ratification approval by half of the state legislators, state assemblies. Half of the state legislatures, state legislative assemblies should also give their approval. Now, this third category of amendment is the most difficult one. This third type of amendment is the most difficult one. And it has been provided that there are certain provisions in the Constitution of India which are called as entrenched provisions, which are called as entrenched provisions. These provisions which are very important with respect to the federal nature of the Constitution. And these entrenched provisions, they cannot be amended simply. For them, more rigorous process is needed. So therefore, third category comes. Now, there are large number of provisions which are changed through third way. What are these provisions? For example, elections to the post of President of India. If you are bringing any change with respect to the manner how president is elected, if you want to bring change, then through third approach, you need to amend that provision. If there is any change that is being brought in the extent of the executive power of the union or state government, if union or state government's powers are being changed, then through third way amendment is to be brought. Then if there is any change regarding the union judiciary, high court, if change in the list in 7th schedule, if the representation of states in parliament is being changed, so all these particular changes will happen through the special majority, and ratification by half of the states. Now, this committee that has been constituted under the president for simultaneous election, this committee has to see that what type of amendment process will be needed to bring simultaneous election in India. Obviously, it will not happen by simple majority, but whether ratification of state also is needed or not, that is, it is going to study. Now, when we talk about, guys, constituent assembly debates, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he wanted that some of the provisions of the state, some of the provisions of the constitution should be amended in a rigid manner, so that original spirit of constitution does not get diluted, and therefore this third type of amendment process was added. Now, on that particular thing, guys, some of the rulings also have come by Supreme Court. For example, there are two cases that we are going to discuss. Now, case laws are asked by the UPSC in the GS paper number 2. So, first is Kihoto Holohan versus Zechulu case of 1992. Now, this particular case is also called as the anti-defection case. Now, this particular case, what happened? 10th schedule brought the anti-defection law in India. So 10th schedule was added by the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. And when the 10th schedule was added by 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, ratification of half of the state was not taken. And on this particular ground, a challenge was raised that when you have introduced 10th schedule, you should have taken the ratification of half of the states, but you have not taken. So therefore, it was challenged. Then Supreme Court, however, upheld the validity of 10th schedule. Now, there is one more case, that is 2021. So Supreme Court gave a ruling in Union of India versus Rajendra N. Shah case. And in this particular ruling, what happened? It struck down the portion of 97th Constitutional Amendment Act. Now, 97th Constitutional Amendment Act introduced the part 9B in the Constitution, which deals with the cooperative society, Now, Supreme Court said that the cooperative societies were under the domain of state list, and Parliament has made a law on that. And Parliament also has not taken the ratification of the 50% of the states. So therefore, portions of the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act were got struck down. So these are the two case laws: anti-defection law, Kihoto Holohan case, and Union of India versus Rajendra N. Shah case. Okay. Now, when we talk about simultaneous election, already in 2019, Law Commission of India, it has provided that if you want to bring simultaneous election, a large number of amendments have to be brought in Indian Constitution. You need to amend the Constitution of India, Representation of People Act, Rules of Procedure of Lok Sabha, and it said that constitutional change is to be approved by 50% of the state. Now, we need to see that what this particular committee notes in this particular direction. That is all, guys, about this particular article. And guys, meanwhile, if you are please finding utility from the effort that we are giving in this video, please hit the like button on video, because it supports the cause of our channel. So if you want to support our channel, please do hit like button. And then moving on to next article, the mantras that powered success at G20. The mantras that powered success at G20. Now, this article will see with respect to GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, international affairs, international themes. Now, guys, when we talk about G20 summit, which was held recently, so recently G20 summit was held, and this G20 summit is being called as a huge success. Why? Because with the consensus, New Delhi declaration was signed. Right now, you know that in G20 there is a lot of issues that are going on, because in G20, West as well as Russia, China both are represented, and between the West and Russia, China, there are ideological gap that has got created, and because of Russia-Ukraine war also, there's a lot of division. So point is that both will not agree on a common statement, but India succeeded to get past the final declaration. Now, article says this particular thing, guys, that from a long time, this particular talk is going on in international sphere, that multilateralism is dead. Multilateralism is dead. Multilateral institutions are dead. Now, G20 is a multilateral institution. If New Delhi Declaration would not have got passed here, even G20's credibility would have got diluted a lot. And it is because India's policy of multilateralism, India's policy where India have taken all the countries together, India's policy of middle path, where India has not taken side of any one country. India was able to bring all countries together, and one common statement was signed under G20. And by that, the credibility of G20 as a whole has been saved. Now, when we talk about the common Delhi Declaration that was signed, there was no negative reference for Russia, no negative reference for China that was there. And this is because of the craftsmanship of the Indian Sherpas. It was because of the craftsmanship of the Indian officials. It has been said that only mention that was made into the New Delhi Declaration was positive reference for Russia, where Russia was appreciated for a Black Sea grain initiative, through which grains were exported by Ukraine to Europe even during the war. Now Russia has withdrawn from that. So they said that Russia should again join the Black Sea grain initiative. It was a good thing that was done by Russia in the past. So a positive statement was made. Now, further moving on, the article says this particular thing, that if there would not have been any joint declaration, it would have posed a question on sustainability of G20. What would have happened? G20 would have got divided into. Now see, we have G7, which is Western Bloc, and then we have BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now India, China, South Africa. Okay, BRICS. Okay. Now, guys, it has been said that this organization would just become China Russia organization. This organization would become just the West organization. So G20 would have lost the relevance, and just G7 and BRICS, which are two separate groupings, they would have been there. G20 is unique. Why? Because it brings both West as well as Russia, China together on the common front. Moreover, G20 is also very much important because of the Trioca Plus. Trioca Plus. Now, first of all, guys, what is a Trioca? Trioca means three countries who hold the past presidency, present presidency, and future presidency. These three countries are called as a Troika. Now, when we talk about the Troika, past president of G20 was Indonesia, present is India, and the next is going to be Brazil. And Troika plus means the president after this also. So after Brazil, the next will be South Africa. All these countries are the developing countries. All these countries are the developing countries. So within G20, how developing countries are playing an important role. This thing also we see that in Troika plus, all the developing countries are there. And under the leadership of developing country, common statement, consensus statement got passed. It shows the credibility and the mettle of Indian diplomacy. Japan also played a very important role as a G7 member. Japan also brought US and Europe on the common board and helped in signing of this particular common declaration. Now, article says this particular thing, that as we talk about the post-Cold War world, as we talk about the post-Cold War world, we see this particular thing, that post-Cold War, USA has tried to create a unipolar world where only one power, USA, will prevail. China has pushed for a bipolar world where China will be the contender to USA. Okay, and here if we see, India has always sought for a multipolar world. Fine. And now we indeed see that we are entering into the multipolar world. Now, guys, when we talk about the present times, it has the article says that USA in the past under the Donald Trump, it has exited from many of the international agreements, conventions. For example, it walked out of Paris Accord, it walked out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Okay, a lot of things. And we saw that what will happen to the world when US will not be the dominant power. Okay, so basically US has to play a very important role in world affairs. Okay, now when we talk about the multipolar world, where is West is there, US is there, and the countries such as the China is there, and when there is also the talks of the third pole that is done. Now, what is the third pole? Third pole refers to the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. Why it is referred to as third pole? It is because of it has this particular Hindu Kush Himalayan region has the highest volume of ice and snow outside the north and the south pole. So this third pole geographically means the region of Hindu Kush and Himalayas, but third pole also means the global south, the developing countries. They are also going to play a very important role in global politics. And there, India has always positioned itself as a champion of the global south, champion of the global south. So, in this capacity, India is going to lead the world. India in G20 by facilitating the common statement has already proved its credibility on global scale. Okay, that is all about it. Now, moving to next article. Okay, symbolism of gender justice ushers in new era of parliament. Now, what this particular article is talking about, guys? This article is talking about that how in parliament women artisans, women artists, women craftsmen, there have been their contributions have been their contributions have been given well due space. Now, let's talk about this article. So basically, guys, when we talk about the new parliament building that has got inaugurated, in new parliament building, there is a signature wall that is Jan Janani Janma Bhumi. Now, this wall is in the central foyer of parliament. Now, what is a foyer? So, guys, when you go in, let's say, a hotel, you have a huge central hall. When you enter a hotel, you have a huge central hall. When you enter a theater, there is a huge central hall. So first hall that is there when we enter a big building, that is called as a foyer. So when we enter the parliament, there is a central foyer. In that central foyer, there is a wall, which this wall is called as Jan Janani Janmbhumi. And on this particular wall, we find that 75 women artisans across the country, they have made some artwork. Now, when we talk about this wall is made up on this particular wall with the help of the banana pulp. With the help of banana pulp, a lot of crafts work has been done. Now, here you can see this is this particular wall, and across the 28 states, women artists they have left their imprint there. Now, Janani Janmabhoomi, this wall was made at a workshop that was set by the Nari Shishu Kalyan Parishad. So here we see that a great symbolism to women art has been given. Apart from that, there is also Shilp Dirga, that is a crafts gallery within the new parliament building. This Shilp Dirga, that is the crafts gallery. It has 8 themes in it: Parv, festival; Swavalamban, self-reliance; Prakriti, nature; Ullas, joy; Gyan, wisdom; Samrashta, harmony; Astha, faith; Yatra, journey. And in that, women-centric themes have been depicted. So this is an example that how in the new parliament building also, the women, their contributions, women art, they are duly being depicted. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. Now, moving to the next article. Center floats new science awards. Floats new science awards. So, if you remember, guys, just 2 3 days back, we have seen that the government has given out the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Awards. And I told you that government is also thinking to rationalize, to restructure the science awards. And now finally government has done that. So what government has done? Government has restructured the science awards. And government had come out with a Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskars. Government has come out with the Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskars. which will be given to the scientist for their scientific contribution. Under this Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, there will be the 56 prizes that will be given for the felicitation of scientists, technologists, and innovators. Now, these particular prizes will not contain any cash prizes. They will contain just a certificate and a medallion, a medal. No cash prize will be given. Earlier, cash prize was given to the scientist. For example, under Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, 5 lakh rupees of cash prize was given, but now no cash prize will be given. So, under this Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, there will be number one Vigyan Ratnas, 3 Vigyan Ratna that will be given, 25 Vigyan Shri will be given, 25 Vigyan Yuva Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award will be given, and 3 Vigyan Team Award will be given. So in total, 4 type of award will be given under the Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar. Vigyan Ratna, Vigyan Shri, Vigyan Yuva Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, and Vigyan Team Award. And these awards, prizes will be given for the category of physics, chemistry, biological sciences, mathematics, computer science, earth sciences. All these categories have been given. Okay. So basically, it has been provided that now in total 56 prizes, eh, awards in science will be given. Earlier, there were around 300 science prizes that were given, but now they will be brought down to just 56. Earlier, cash prize was also there. For example, I told you, under Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, 5 lakh rupees of cash prize was given, but now cash prize will also not be given. Now, it has been provided that the person of Indian origin, they will also be eligible for these prizes, but Vigyan Team Award will not be given to PIU. Okay, only other awards can be given to the person of Indian origin. Okay. Now, as we talk about these awards will be given for their lifetime contribution to the field of science and will actually be given. Now, these are the two important things. So, these awards will be announced on May 11, which is a National Technology Day, and they will be awarded on National Space Day, August 23. Now, May 11 and August 23 are two important dates. Why? Because on May 11, 1998, India conducted its nuclear test. And on August 23, what happened? Chandrayaan 3 made a successful landing on moon. So therefore, May 11 is called as National Technology Day and August 23 is called as the National Space Day. Now, these awards will be given by president or vice president. And as of now, CSIR, okay, will coordinate the awards. Then what happened after 2 years? National Research Foundation will give this award. I told you already on NRF, I think we have taken at least 5 6 articles because this NRF got constituted 2 months back, which is going to be the premier body for research and development in India. So right now CSIR will coordinate these awards, but then NRF will take over. So this is guys all about this particular awards, and this happens to be an important theme for our this for our prelims examination. Please keep it in your mind. Then moving to the next article. Sorry. Yes. Next, moving to the next article. WHO releases report on global impact of high BP. So basically, guys, high blood pressure or hypertension, this is a very big cause of fatalities and ill health around the world. And article talks about that in the context of India, large number of people are suffering from hypertension and BP. Now, article says this thing that out of the people who are suffering from hypertension, high BP, only 4 out of every 5 people with hypertension, they are not properly treated, they are not taking proper medicines, they are not taking the remedial steps. So 80% people who are suffering from hypertension, high BP, they are not taking any step to remedy their situation. Now it has been said that if we improve the health of these people who are suffering with hypertension, okay, 76 million deaths could be averted between 2023 to 2050. Now, when we talk about India, it has been provided according to the Lancet Health Journal, which has taken data from National Family Health Survey 5. It says that hypertension prevails in 24% of men. What is hypertension? Hypertension is a situation when your blood pressure goes way high. That is the hypertension. So it says that hypertension prevalence is 24% in men and 21% among women, which has increased from the earlier number of 19% and 17%. Okay, and these hypertension, it becomes a condition leading to stroke, heart attack, heart failure, kidney damage, and all such things. So, interventions such as lifestyle changes, doing some physical activity, controlling your diet, controlling your sodium intake, reducing tobacco, alcohol, these are certain things that are to be done. But adequate attentions are not being paid. And specifically, guys, you guys preparing for UPSC also, you need to be specifically concerned about this situation because of the long study hours that you are giving, where lack of physical activity is there. So such issues might get manifested in the medium term. Then moving on, let's take the main practice question for today. So question for today is a simple one. How is the constitution amended? What are the different procedures for amending provision of Indian constitution? Can constitutional amendment be struck down for the want of ratification by states? So this will be the 15 marker question for GS paper number. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Guys, I hope that you have liked the video and I hope that you have got some utility out of this particular video. If you have appreciated the quality of video, please hit the like button. Please also do leave your lovely comments because they encourage us, as well as they are very much instrumental for keep for the thriving of our community and channel. Thank you so much.